Hey, this is Joel coming to you from my warehouse today to give you an honest review of one of my favorite accessories that we've added to the shop. This is my SuperHandy 80-foot, you heard that right, 80-foot extension cord reel. It's made of industrial strength steel. It's got 12-gauge wire, a 3-prong outlet, and surge protection. So stick around, we're gonna talk about all the benefits and why this is my favorite extension cord reel that I've ever owned. Now I know what you're probably thinking. Hey Joel, don't get too excited. This is just an extension cord reel. But to me, this is actually much bigger than that. It's a solution to a big problem I have in my shop, and that is accessibility to power. You see, most of my outlets are on the back wall, and if I need to do something outside, I need to go 50 or even 60 feet sometimes to get to the driveway or somewhere around a vehicle to do work where I need power. And my existing reels weren't cutting it. They were just too short, smaller gauge wire, 30 feet at the longest. So I went on a search for a heavy duty industrial grade extension cord reel and ran across this one from SuperHandy. So I reached out and they were happy to send me one to evaluate, use, and provide an honest review on. So thanks SuperHandy for doing that. And what I found was something that was so far beyond everything else I've owned and tried that there's really no comparison. I mean, first and foremost, it's got 80 feet of cord in here. That's kind of ridiculous. I mean, other cord reels that you're gonna find on the commercial side, the consumer side, they don't go even half that long. This is industrial grade, 80-foot long clearance that allows me to get to anywhere in my shop, around items, and out into the driveway. And not only that, but it's 12-gauge wire, which is heavier than your standard extension cord, and it has a 3-prong outlet on the end. And because it handles up to 15 amps, I can plug up to 15 amps worth of power into these 3 prongs and get everything I need from this one cord. And if you do happen to exceed 15 amps, it's got a breaker on the side of the reel that will trip, and you can simply reset it here instead of having to go all the way to your breaker box. Now, as far as my power experience so far goes, this has been extremely easy to use. The reel is nice and smooth. It's got little rollers on all 4 sides, so top and bottom, left and right. And no matter how you pull the cord, whether it's from the top, the bottom, the left side, or the right side, it's got a roller there to keep it smooth and so it doesn't kink. And you can pull it all the way out and all the way in without any problems. The only thing I would advise you to do is not just let go of the cord, because it's pretty heavy and it can get quite the speed built up and could whip up and hit you in the face or hit something else in the shop and break it. So maintain control when you're putting it in, but I've never had any issues with the reel itself. It's got heavy duty gears here on the side. You can even take a look at them, see them in action. It's not something that is going to break easily, and it's really easily serviceable because everything's right here on the outside. And because the entirety of the reel is made out of heavy gauge steel, even the actual wheel itself, it doesn't deform in heat or cold. It's not going to warp. I've had plastic reels in the past that kind of would warp and get brittle or even break when you were winding them up. This is all steel. It's all very heavy. It's bolted together. It's really well made, and like most SuperHandy products, it's over-engineered for what you're probably going to use it for. And because of its orientation, you can mount it to the floor, to the ceiling, or like I did, to the wall. Now, one quick note about installation. So in my case, I'm in a warehouse that has steel studs in the wall, not wood studs that I could really adhere something to. So I decided to go a different direction by putting a 1/2-inch plywood mounting plate behind the cord reel to help mount it and stick it to the wall. Honestly, I was afraid of using even heavy-duty drywall anchors to affix this to the wall because the steel plate in the back could penetrate the drywall and cause the reel to kind of flop and wiggle. So I actually took this 1/2-inch piece of plywood, I cut it to a 1-foot square, and I affixed it to the wall with heavy-duty drywall anchors in each corner. Then I simply used 1/4-inch lag bolts into the back of the reel in the provided holes and mounted everything to the plywood and the wall at the same time. You'll see it's very, very sturdy. It doesn't wobble around, and even with no studs in the wall, it was a nice installation. So I would advise you to do something like create a backer plate if you're gonna mount it to the wall and don't have any studs to attach to. But even if you do, I think a backer plate is good because it gives you more surface area against your drywall and limits the possibility of something puncturing your drywall while you're going in and out with the cord reel, because it does create some vibration. Now on the far side of the reel, you'll notice that you get a generous cable with this to plug it into the wall. I've mounted mine right next to an outlet strategically, but this is a 3, maybe 3.5, 4 foot long cable, longer than you're gonna get with other cord reels. So if you need to mount this on the floor, you have enough room to get it to an outlet and you aren't just kind of stuck with a 1 foot cable trying to mount it right next to an outlet if you absolutely don't want to. And so my conclusion about this reel, after having it, owning it, installing it, and using it for a while, is that even if you're not a high volume user, even if you're not a commercial or industrial space, you're never going to be upset about getting something that is this high quality, this heavy duty. This is literally something I'm gonna be able to pass on to my children, because there's very little likelihood that anything's ever gonna go wrong or that the components are gonna break beyond repairability, and it's gonna withstand whatever I can throw at it over the years. So thanks for watching this video about the SuperHandy 80-foot 12-gauge wire industrial extension cord reel. Check it out for yourself. I really think you're gonna like it.